All right, viewers, all right, listeners, welcome to this week's edition of weekly podcast Business Talk with Fon Felix. Always live streaming on your handles every Wednesday from 11 a.m. This is our way of contributing to the growth of business community. This is our own quota to the business community. This is our own way of encouraging, enlightening, and bringing solution to certain issues that business people might have, particularly for entrepreneurs, startups, and small business owners. So this is what we do every week. Remember, we always live on your handles on YouTube, on Facebook, or Instagram. If you're following us on YouTube, please remember to always click on the subscription button so you can get notification of our subsequent edition or subsequent articles. If you're following us on YouTube, on Facebook or Instagram, please always remember to like, share, tag someone you know that will be that these articles will benefit, comment, and we'll equally call for your opinion. So if you have contrary opinion to ideas we share, or you have any contributions to the discussions we share weekly, please always use the comment section. Please drop us your comment and drop us your views. This will help us to serve you better. Or particularly there's a particular discussion that you want us to look out for, or there's a particular issue you're facing in your business and you wish us to consider and discuss in the weekly podcast, please, you can always reach out to me via the numbers, or you can equally drop it on the comment sections. Of course, my numbers are always available at your own request. And like we always said, in case you miss any of the previous podcasts, in case you need any of the previous editions and you need the audio recordings are always available for you on demand at no cost at all. So whenever you have demand of the audio recordings, you can use it to listen wherever you're driving. You can use it to listen while you're doing one or two things in the office. In case you miss the live sessions, please, you can always reach out to me. I and my team always try to make sure that the audio recordings are available. All right, last week we discussed, the discussion for last week was on managing loss or managing losses in business. That was the discussion for last week on managing losses in business. And we established a fact at the ground that losses are inevitable in business. So in as much as life continues to exist, in as much as business continues to exist, losses are inevitable. So losses must come. So we don't pray against losing in business. They must come. This is beyond prayer point. This is beyond fasting. This is beyond doing one of our religious activities or the other. In as much as we pray for profit, it can as well pray for losses. But our own ways is try to see how we can mitigate, cushion the effect of those losses, or try to minimize those losses at the barest minimum. But losses must always surface in business. Losses must always surface in business. Losses must always be there in business. So as a business person, you should have this in the back of your mind that is not always a win-win thing. So sometimes you can lose, sometimes you can win. So as for making profit, it's the same way that you can as well also make losses in business. So this is not something we pray against yet, but as business people, as consultant, the only thing I can guide you is how you can manage the situation where losses occur, or how you can manage the situation to reduce losses at the barest minimum as possible, as the case may be. But not that we can totally wipe out losses in business. No, we cannot. In as much as we cannot wipe out profit in business, we can also not be able to wipe out losses in business. So we try to establish the fact at the ground. What can you do when losses occur in business? What can you do when losses eventually occurs in business? How do you manage losses when they come to your business? We'll try to put out one of a few key points. That one of them is what? Analyze your finance. So try to find out where did the losses eventually come as from. So if you're able to analyze your business very well, if you're able to analyze your trade, if you're able to analyze your transactions, you're able to have a trace or where these losses are coming from, and where possible, you can be able to close gap of those losses, can be able to close gap of those reasons why those losses eventually happen. Then if we increase your revenue, losses have happened. That is the truth of the matter. And losses, of course, eventually decreases your capital or decreases your profit margin or your finances. So it has happened. So how do you come out of it? You need to increase your revenue, possibly by increasing your service charges, increasing the items or your product prices and all of that. This way is just a way for you to mitigate or reduce the cushion the effect of the losses you have had in business. I will also talk about managing your debt. Now that you have already run into debt, you have already run into losses, please now try to reach out to those who are owing you. Also try to reach out to those you are owing and let them understand the situation. And of course, we also discuss about you developing strategic plan to avoid losses in future. So those were the key discussions and key points we established last week on managing business losses or managing losses in business. So losses will always be there. Losses will eventually happen. The same way that profit will come, the same way that losses will eventually come. But what we can do is to help you manage the situation, is to help you, guide you on ways that the losses, the effects can be cushioned in a barest minimum where it may not have a high effect on your business. So that was our discussion for last week. Of course, this week we shall continue on another key point of discussion. Remember this program is always live on your handles every Wednesday from 11 a.m. Once it's 11 a.m., just know that you'll be live with Business Talk with Fon Felix, our own way of contributing to the business success of the community, our own way of guiding business people. Now, this week, let's discuss. What are we going to be discussing this week? This week, we want to discuss. Remember, last week we discussed about managing losses in business. This week, we want to discuss on declaring profit. Yes, you understand? So our discussion comes in sequence. Do you understand? Our discussion, they are interwoven. Do you get it? So we move from one key point to another. Last week, we discussed about how to manage your losses, how to avoid losses in business, and how to manage it to the barest minimum. This week, we are discussing on declaring profit. Declaring profit or profit declaration, as the case may be, depending on the terms you use or the terminology you use in your field, in your business world, whatever. But I'm calling it declaring profit or profit declaration. How, when, and why should we declare your profit as a business person? When, how, and why should you declare your profit as a business person? The same question I want to ask is that, why should you also declare your losses if you don't want to declare your profit? Do you understand? So, from this part of the world where we come from, we're easily motivated to declare negative things than positive things. We're easily motivated, we're easily moved to declare openly negative situation than positive situation. Why? Because we want to invite empathy. Do you understand me? We want people to pity us. We want people to have pity on us. We want people to begin to say, oh, sorry, oh, sorry, it means you had losses in your business. Oh, it means the container could not arrive. Oh, it means all your business, they were all lost. Oh, it means all the items were all damaged. Oh, sorry, the Lord will help you. Sorry, that is what we want. But no much business people want to actually declare the profit they've made. So how many business people want to also declare that the same way they have declared their losses should be able to declare that in this month I've made 300 million. In this week I've made 300 trillion. So nobody wants to declare that. Okay, some people will now tell you for security reasons they don't want to declare their profit for security purpose. You understand me? You understand the terms now. They say for security reasons we don't want to declare our profit. Do you get it? But for security reasons, you were able to declare your losses. Do you understand? So there's no security guide on why you declared your losses. But now on declaring profit, you are not bringing security reasons to us. So you see the picture. So do you understand? So very few people were able to declare their profit at the end of the business quota, at the end of the business regime, or at the end of the fiscal year, which is not good for business people, because we see that declaring profit involves calculating your net profit, reporting this information to relevant authorities. Now, at the end of the beginning of the fiscal year, like as January is approaching, we're approaching January, the tax authorities, they will come after you. You understand me? They will come for you to pay your tax. And what are you supposed to, what fraction of your profit are you supposed to pay? Do you get it? So how do you calculate? So if you don't declare your profit, how will you know the fraction of tax you're supposed to pay? How will you know the fraction of whatsoever thing you're supposed to pay? So it's easy and it's good for you as a business person to always do what? Declare your profit open. Let your profit be open. Let people know. Let your investor know. Now, particularly for entrepreneurs as small business owners or startups, there are many businesses people that does business with people's fund. Maybe you're into partnership, you have investors who have invested into your business. None of the money in your business is yours. You understand? You have investors who have invested. Of course, we have many business people who rely on investors, who have team of investors, you understand, who buy shares, go contribute funds, crowdfunding for you to run the business. At the same way that at the year is running to an end, that you should be able, you will run up, open up to them and tell them that you encountered losses, like we have discussed severally, that in business there's transparency. There should be transparency in business. There should be honesty in the business. So when the business is growing, when the business is glowing, please let your investors and partners know. When the business have had bad experiences, when the business is having some backsliding, let your partners and investors know. Don't try to hide. Don't try to cover up. Do you understand me? It's people money you're using to do business. That is why banks are started by using the financial institutions. The financial institutions is that at the end of the fiscal year, they declare their profits. They as well declare their losses. Some of them weekly basis. Of course, if you listen to some business news, you hear that this particular company countered loss, this particular company made some gains in this particular week in this item, selling this or buying this and all of that. So that is business analysis, that is business transaction for you, because they have investors. So every morning or every day, the investors are always on their screen monitoring to know what will happen. They want to know if their money is actually using profit or if their money is encountering some losses. And where possible that there are no profit attached, there's no profit they are getting from their money, many of them could be forced to withdraw from the partnership. Many of them could be forced to withdraw from the investorship agreement or whatever. Do you understand? So it is good for you as a business person to declare your profits at the end of the fiscal year, declare your profits at the end of the month, declare your profits at the end of the day, declare your profits at the end of the day, depending on the size of your business. So if your business is so large, let it be that at the end of the month, please be able to declare your business at the end of the week. Be able to declare your business. Let people know. That way will also help you to know whether your business is flourishing or not, whether you're encountering losses, whether you're encountering profits or not. Sometimes we can do business blindly. We don't even know whether we're making profits. We don't even know we're making losses. It's there. Yes, it's there. And many times, by the time you realize yourself, it has become too late. After a business you started with a capital of 1 million, by the time you look around, you find out that you don't even have goods worth 300,000 naira left. You don't even have cash worth up to 100,000. Assuming that you put it all together, you don't even have up to half of the capital you started the business with. And you begin to say that the village people are after you. The village people, oh, somebody came, it was bad person in my village. It was one uncle in my village that did this and that. There's no uncle that is after you in business. There's no bad person that is after you in business. The matter, what actually happened is that you did not pay attention to the running of the business. You failed to declare your profit. You as well failed to declare your losses. So that is what we should do as business people. We should be able to declare our profits, declare what? Our losses at the same time. The same way you declare your profit, the same way you also declare your losses, particularly to investors and all of that. So how do you calculate your losses? That should be another matter. How do you calculate your losses, and how do you calculate your net profit? Do you understand me? So the first step in declaring your profit is accurately calculating your net profit. Do you understand me? Or your net income. So calculate your net profit, your net income. Do you understand? Which we call the bottom line. So your net profit or your net income will let you know where you stand in business. You understand me? It will let you know where you stand in business using your profit and loss account. So you should be able to know that you started the year with 1 million naira. The year is coming to an end. Today is November. Do you understand me? November is almost going to an end. And as you try to analyze your business, you're seeing 1.5 million. Then minus your running costs, that's your business expenses, minus the business running expenses, minus the taxes, minus salaries you have to pay. Do you understand me? So subtract the direct costs associated to that particular product. So okay, how much did you incur buying this product? How much do you incur transporting this product? How much do you incur? Now, what are the interest and taxes? You collected loans from financial institutions, or you collected a loan from crowdfunding, from community, from social organizations or whatever to do the business. What is the interest attached to it for that year? What is the interest attached to it for that month? What is interest attached to it for that particular month or week or day? Do you understand? So deduct it. Now, having done this business in this 1 month, what does the law say about your tax? What is the deduction? So how much tax are you supposed to pay? What is the fraction? How many percent fraction are you supposed to pay in this particular interest, in this particular gain, this particular business you have done? Deduct it from the net profit of, you understand me? From what you have gained for that day. Now, your rent, do you understand me? Okay, you're paying rent in your business outlet. Do you get it? What is your annual rent? Deduct the annual rent from it. You understand me? You have to pay salaries to your staffs. You understand me? You have paid your staff, ensure you pay them well. Then you have some vendors that you need to clear some debt with. Clear your vendors, then that will not give you the net profit. So whatever thing that is left, having calculated and do all of those subtraction, will not give you the net profit. So the remaining amount is your net profit. So if the result is negative, that means you have encountered a loss. But if the result is positive, that means you have encountered a profit. So you should be able at the end of the fiscal year to gather the board members of your business. You understand me? If you're a large corporation and public liability or private liability, gather all the investors, okay, declare your profit, let them know how well the business fared for that fiscal year. Let them know how well the business fared for that 6 months. Let them know how well that business fared for that particular 1 month. That will give them the encouragement either to continue investing in you or to withdraw their partnership. Of course, you don't have to force any investor to continue. So if they see that, then by the time you have done all of those analysis, now the net profit, what is the percentage sharing formula for all the partners, for all the investors? So what is the percentage sharing formula? Okay, out of 100% that is left, what are they taking? So all the investors put together are supposed to take 70%. So all the investors are supposed to share 70%. Then the remaining 30%, that is now your money. Do you understand me? At that point, you will now decide what you can do with that money, whether to reinvest it, whether to eat it, or whether to use it for personal use. Do you understand me? So that is it. So it is whatever thing that is left that will not determine what you can do. Okay, for this fiscal year that you have made profits, okay, I want to buy a car for my business. I want to buy a car for personal use. I want to buy a car. I want to buy clothes. I want to do that. So that is at the end of the fiscal year when the profit has been declared and is positive, and both investors and partners have also been settled with their percentage as agreed, and whatever thing that is left for you, you cannot decide whether to convert it into a personal use or to reinvest it into the business. That is how you are able to determine how well or how far your business is going and all of that. So key consideration, you need to separate finances in business. So how do you determine your losses or your gains in business? You do what? You need to what? You need to separate your finances. So you should be able, I've said this severally in these editions, in the course of this bulletin, be able to separate your personal finance from your business finance. And I've said, open a business account, have a personal account. You know that the money that goes into the personal account is for a personal use. The money that goes into the business account is for business use. So somebody should not pay a business related money into your personal account, and somebody should not pay a personal related money into your business account, because of course, remember, the law is already watching. The law is watching according to how much you're receiving. Remember, like Nigeria, I heard there's a policy that from next year, everybody's going to be taxed. So you're going to be taxed based on what you're receiving. So if you're receiving personal income into your business account, of course, they have to pay you. You have to account for it. Or you're doing nothing as a business person, and people are paying you for business into your private account. You have to pay taxes on those things. So by the time you're able to separate your businesses from your finances, for your personal finance, you'll be able to know whether you're making profit or you're making losses in business. So also seek professional help. Yes, every time in this bulletin, I've talked about seeking professional help. We have accountants, we have auditors, we have external auditors, we have business consultants, people you should consult, professional people. So you want to calculate your profit and loss, please consult the auditors. Get an external auditor per se, get a chartered accountant. That is what they do. That's their job. So pay them some money, let them be able to help you to analyze your business. You know whether you're doing well in your business or whether your business is suffering some loss. And finally, we'll talk about profit allocation. So once profit is determined and taxes have been paid, so business owners can decide what they will do with the remaining funds. You understand? So such as whether you are to reinvest them for business, or you're to pay off some debt you're owing, or you distribute the profit to owners or shareholders. Like, of course, I've said that. So we have shareholders in the business, we have partners in the business, have investors. So now that the profit has been declared, you will now know that this is how much you made for the fiscal year. It is now time for profit allocation. So allocate those to the shareholders, allocate this fraction to the investors and partners, then take your own fraction from there. You will now know whether to reinvest it or use it for personal use. So that way you'll be able to know whether you're doing well in your business or whether you're not doing well in your business. And particularly, it's important if you're, for next year, maybe you want to apply for facilities from financial institutions. They want to know how far and how well your business is doing. So if they ask you, how is your business faring, and you are not even able to declare that, okay, sometimes they'll ask you, how much profit did your business make for last year? You want to apply for facility from financial institution for 2026. But the first question they will ask you, you're a business person, your business is doing well, you're into this, you're into that. How much profit did your business make for 2025 fiscal year? And many times, many of us don't even know how to answer. We said, oh, because you felt that in your bank statement, you have a turnover of 50 million. You have a turnover of 50 million. Remember, that 50 million turnover was cash in, cash out, profits, losses, loans, interest, and all of that. But do you understand me? You now said that because you have a turnover of 50 million in your account for last year, you now said that your business made a profit of 50 million. You get it? So many of us falls into that, and by the time the banks now look at it and believe you that if they can, and that you're able to make a profit of 50 million, and they can grant you a facility of 100 million, knowing fully that annually you can make 50 million, and by the time not knowing that what actually made up this 50 million are all the business transactions, which including debt, including loans, including interest, including taxes, including rent, including salaries, everything is inclusive, including investors and shareholders' money. So you should be able to calculate, know how much profit your business have made. That you have a capital base of 50 million, then you should know that this 50 million, the capital base, maybe give you a profit margin for the whole, a net profit of say 2 million naira. That will help and also guide the financial institutions on the best facilities they can give to you. And that will also help you to calculate for next year and know how to run next year fiscal year, whether there are some losses, some loopholes you need to cover, or whether some business transactions that you need to stop, or whether there are some things you need to increase in your business. So declaring your profit is key. Declaring your profit is a guide to your business success. So how well your business is succeeding, how well your business is faring is determined by how well you're able to declare your profit, how well you're able to interpret your business losses. By so doing, you will see that your business will fail, and you have the tips of your business at your fingertips. You can be able to interpret your business at a glance of an eye. Somebody can ask you a question, you can go to an interview, you can go to financial institutions for loans, and just one question you're able to answer them because you have already studied this. You understand? You have already analyzed this before coming. And of course, if you're going for financial institutions to get facilities, you should be able to prepare yourself ahead of time. Get all the relevant documentation that is needed. Of course, do your background check and find out that all that they need, they eventually have it. That way, your business will succeed. That way, they'll be able to grant that facility. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is where we shall be drawing the curtain to a close in this week's edition of Business Talk for Felix. Remember, this week's edition has been on declaring profit, and we have emphasized and encouraged that you should be able to learn how to declare your profit for the fiscal year. You should be able to learn how to manage and calculate your net profit for fiscal year. We can always help you wherever you want us to assist you in your business, either to come to talk to your team, come to your, maybe you have a group where you have your business, you have your investors, you have your community wish us to come and talk about business development, business consultancy. Please, you can always reach out to me on the number shown on your screen, or you can always reach out to me via the comment section. I should drop contact so that we can discuss where. Or there's a way, there's something that's bothering you, your business, what you wish to share with us. Please always make use of the comment section or reach out to me on my personal direct message so that we can deal with them as long as it's a way of guiding you to enjoy success in your business. Of course, in case you still need my services on graphic designs or branding, please, you can always reach out to me. You need me for a live streaming, event live streaming, you need me for live video productions, or you need me to come and help set up your media equipment, or for consultancy on procurement, please, you can always reach out to me. That is what we do. We are registered, we are trusted, and we are reliable. Many can testify for our services. Reliable and quality service, that is what we offer to you. Thank you, and hope to see you in next week's edition. See you and enjoy success in your business.